Brilliant. So thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. This is something new that I wanted to test and trial in the hospitality community. So as you all know, every week I do marketing reviews. So I will take a look at everybody's front-end marketing, whether it's Google, Facebook, website. And what I normally do is I record my screen, pass over feedback, and send it to the user. I've probably done over 100 of these in the last 2 years. And what I've noticed is that a lot of people have got the same issues and problems. So what I thought I would do, try something a little bit different. I put a post out in the community just to see if someone would like to jump on a live coaching call. So somewhere where we can go over the main issue right now and see if we can fix it and put it into the group. So that way, there may be a problem that you've got right now, doesn't matter what it may be when it comes to marketing and getting people through the door. And then if we do this, we can do a bit of group training at the same time as doing a bit of bespoke individual one-on-one training as well. So I asked a question, and Pauline kindly put her hand up, and we've got her on the call right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to give Pauline a chance to introduce herself, the property, the history behind it, and just give you as much information. And then we're going to go in and we're going to ask a few questions and see what we can do. So Pauline, over to you.
Okay, thank you. Well, the cottage is one lodge on a small site called Campbell Lodge. I got it about 3 years ago with the view to us using it ourselves more and maybe renting out a little bit to friends and family and friends of friends. We didn't use it hardly at all, so I decided it'd be a good idea to try and start letting it out. So originally did that through the site, but they obviously only let out mine when theirs were full, so that didn't really accommodate very many at all. And then I eventually, just over a year and a bit ago, went with cottages.com because I just needed to get it out there and do something. Worked out quite well for me. They got me, after Mark asked me the question, because I hadn't actually checked, at 48% occupancy over like March to March last year. But I decided I needed more than that. So went and set up my own website, which I did quite easily one afternoon. I've just got one little problem with it, and decided I needed to find a booking engine. And then that's kind of where I am now. I've kind of decided on Super Control, but we may decide to go somewhere different. I've not signed up anything yet. And I just need to look at what sort of payment method to use and how to get my website out there a bit more, really.
Amazing. Okay, so the first question would be, and it's regarding a booking engine and Super Control. So obviously, as we all know, and people are watching this right now, there's loads of booking engine, loads of property management systems. It's free to book. There's a Vivo, Bookalet, Super Control. We've got the Booking Factory, as well as many others. So why did you sort of fall upon Super Control?
I think it was really because of cottages.com and me wanting to make sure that they were definitely covered by the one that I was using, as that's the main one I've had up till now, because I thought that would be an easier route to go rather than try and sort out all the bookings I've already got for this year somewhere else. And it was very difficult to get out of some of the booking engines whether they would be able to connect with it or not. And I knew that Super Control did. So that was kind of as far as I got.
So the question that comes on the back of it is, with cottages.com, what I would recommend doing is go have a chat to them and just to see what link they need to a channel manager. They'll call it a channel manager or a property management system, because Super Control, free to book, whoever, they need what's called an iCal link. And it's a little bit of script, a little bit of code that will basically, they will copy and paste and put into their system at cottages.com. It all depends how flexible and how well put together their system is. But what you'll find is that all that they will need is an iCal. So my first recommendation would be give cottages.com a call, speak to somebody on the customer service team, and just say, what information do you need to link up to a channel manager? Because like, you're absolutely right. You don't want to run the risk of double bookings or having to manually move everything over, because it's a massive time issue then. As far as which one to go with, Super Control, is a good shout. My one big problem with Super Control right now is that their booking engine of what the user sees, especially on mobile phones, isn't as good as everybody else's. And the reason why you're wanting a booking engine is you want more people to book via your website. It's what everybody wants, you know.
Yeah.
And what we're finding and what the studies are showing is that more and more people are not using these things. They're using these, or they're using iPads. And you've got to make sure that the system that you choose to go with, whoever it may be, that the mobile booking part of their system is spot on. Free to book have changed recently. They used to be really bad, but they've got a lot better. Book-a-let, which is made for cottages, is really good. So I would maybe just have a look and investigate into that. What I would recommend, and somebody in the community could maybe do this, is whichever one you go with, say it's Super Control, do a post in the community and just ask who's with Super Control and ask for their website. Go on your phone and just go onto their website, click on the booking button, go through to the Super Control and just go through the process. Obviously don't make the booking, but just go through the process yourself. Just put your mindset into that of a guest or a potential guest and follow the pattern, and then just make your decision on what was your experience like. Could you easily go from one step to the other? How hard was it? How many hoops did you have to go through? Because the whole reason of a good mobile booking engine is that you don't have to put in that much information. Because if you have to put in first name, last name, email, full address, and you keep on going down the loops and all the hurdles, the user will just go, nah, I'm not having any of this, and then they'll leave. And as soon as they leave, they never come back. They go to somewhere where it's really easy to book, which is booking.com, cottages.com, Airbnb, which defeats the purpose of having it on your site. So my first bit of feedback on that would be, give cottages.com a call. Just make sure, just go, just to confirm to yourself if they can work with more than just Super Control, and go from there. And regarding payment, where are you sort of with the money side of thing, the card payments sort of thing? Where are you with that in the scheme of what you're doing?
Right, so I use absolutely nothing at the moment. For the few bookings I have taken, I've just asked for bank transfers, and that's worked fine. I have to say, until the two that I got recently, they've all been kind of friends of friends, so people are probably more likely to be happy to pay that way because they kind of know you or know of you. I have looked at Stripe, but my only concern with that is, to me, it looks quite expensive, because the percentages and everything, once you pay all the fees. And I'm kind of considering, well, do I only take a deposit and then somehow do something else for the main payment? But because I'm not on site, I can't take anything with any other card machine, so any of the other cheap nice ones that you can just attach to your phone even nowadays. So I just advice on ideas of other things to look at, really.
And what do cottages, you mentioned something before we came on the call about cottages.com. How do they process the payment at the moment? Do they do it all for you and then just pay?
Yeah, they do absolutely everything for me. So which is part of the reason why I went with them in the first place, because I needed something easy and quick to do with my life being as full as it was at that point. So they do everything for me. I get deposits and or full payments depending on what the customer's paid. And then I get them bulked in payments at the end of each month. So the last day of the month, I get all the payments for all of the ones for next month, plus any deposits for future.
And for anybody for anybody who hasn't heard of cottages.com or has never used cottages.com, how does it work with them? So is it commission based? Do they do a set fee? How does it work?
Yeah, it's commission based. I am paying 20%. They also charge the customers a booking fee of, I think, £39. So if I even take off those two, I can give people quite a large discount and still be making more money than what I am at the moment, which is kind of where I'm at really with it, is making a bit more profit would be good. The other thing with them that I thought was quite good is they have unlimited, that you can have personal bookings or bookings with somebody else, because some of the things I looked at to start with limited you on how many weeks that you had to have available for them. Whereas they don't limit it at all. So it means that I can personally book it out myself and go there, or I can have as many direct bookings, and it doesn't make any difference.
And in the past, before you decided to do this more on your own, and you would do a booking through cottages.com, would they then charge you? So say you were going to put it all through yourself, all the payment and stuff, do they still charge you the booking fee?
No. So you effectively just like rule out the dates as a owner booking.
Oh, and you would just contact your friend of a friend and just do the bank transfer?
That's it, yeah.
Okay, cool. So a couple of things. Number one, it's all about making your life as simple as possible. And that's why I look at all of this, especially with payment. I've worked with clients that have done bank transfer, and I've worked with people who have done the online payment. With De Grey, with our family business, we started off with the cottages at bank transfer, and then we quickly transitioned to online card payments because of the ease. Because like you say, when life takes over and you've got all the things going on, especially with the season that's about to come in, you're coming into silly season, really, really busy, and you're not on site, you got to put in a system in place, I believe, that will just make your life easier. And I always say, whatever system you put in, just imagine it's the busiest week in August, when there's all the changeovers, all the things, all the bookings going on, plus you've got, school holidays and all your own things going on. If you really want to take this more away from cottages.com and bring it to yourself, the last thing you want to have to worry about is you've got somebody arriving tomorrow. They've not yet paid their balance. They've not yet got back to you on any of the emails, and you're thinking, well, hang on a second, what am I gonna do here? It's tricky, especially when you're having to rely on them putting money into your account. The reason why we use Stripe is that it's a nice option to have as a backup. So for example, you could still have the bank transfer option, and you could have both. You're basically given your guest the option, but then you've got the option as well. So a booking will come through via, say, Super Control or Free to Book, whoever you use. And the main thing, whoever property management system you go with, whether it's Super Control, Avivo, Book-a-Let or Free to Book, is just check to see what payment systems they work with. So for example, Free to Book, integrate with Stripe. When a booking comes in, all the information comes through, including their card details. So you could then have in your email confirmation that goes out to the guest just to say, hi, thanks so much for the booking. Just to let you know that you've paid a deposit, which can go via Stripe, of £20 or £10 for your stay. Just to let you know that the remaining balance of X amount needs to be paid within 30 days of your arrival on this date, and it's to be paid via bank transfer. If after 30 days there's been no payment, then what we'll do is we will take the full amount from the card that you paid your deposit on.
Right.
So it gives you the best of both worlds. It gives your customer the best of both worlds as well. It just makes life simple. So you can use Stripe still and only pay that card percentage on the deposit.
Yeah.
When it comes to the main payment, and again, you'll just be clearing your T's and C's, and in the first email just say, what is your cancellation policy, just out of interest?
At the moment, it's the get my words right. The 20% upfront.
Yeah.
Is non-refundable, and then cancellation within 14 days of arrival. That's the word.
So the 20% they can put on Stripe, which again, that keeps your fee low, and just put in the email that goes out that you've got until 14 days before arrival to pay via bank transfer. If after 14, as soon as it passes the 14-day mark, if there's no payment, then what we'll do, we will automatically take the payment from your card that you provided at the point of deposit.
Yeah.
And again, it covers your back. It helps them, gives them the choice. and it'll just help you in the long run. So when it gets to that August the 16th and it's the peak of the summer and everybody's, you know, checking out and coming in on the same day, and it gets to that one guest that hasn't paid within the 14 days, you just know that you can log on to Super Control, Free to Book, whoever, and just take the payment, and it'll just help you help you from there. So when you have got going, are you planning on adding your property to the other OTAs as well, or are you just going to stay on?
Yeah, no, that is my aim. Is I will add them to every single other one that whoever I go with is compatible with. Really, I think, because I think the more you're out there, the better. Really.
My advice with that would be just every website you go on, they've all got their individual policy. They've got their own individual pros and cons. So it might just be flexible for whatever site you go on. And there's a really good tip you can do. I don't know if you've seen it, but the one that I say when it comes to deciding on what sites to go on, start on Google. So do 5 to 10 searches for generic phrases, accommodation in town, city, county, and then do niche to what your property is all about. So find out what your niche is, why people stay with you, X, Y, Z, and then do that searches. And, you know, whatever websites are coming up the most, those are the ones to go on. So again, it'll help you save time.
I've done that already because I went through your top 10 tips. Amazing. So I've got a list of things for when I'm ready to go to do, but I just, until I get it all in place, I don't want to be on any more sites because I would just worry too much about the
you don't need that headache. It's a big headache. It is a big headache, and there's nothing worse than having somebody rock up to your property and you've not got any room for them. We've had to we've had to clear out a spare room, one of my brothers or sisters' rooms last minute because we haven't had a room in the inn at the middle of August, and it always happens when you don't want it to happen. And
that, I mean, I can't do anything with that because I have one property. So there's absolutely nothing I can do.
No, so, you know, you're right. So, okay, so that's good. Now, I've got here on what you'd like to have a quick chat about Facebook and Facebook ads. So if you could just give me the background, what you've done and what you'd like to do, and I'll see how I can help.
Yeah, okay. So I've previously done quite a lot on Facebook and other pages, so I kind of know a bit about what I'm doing. I wouldn't say I'm an expert by any means, but I've boosted posts and done adverts and things. It never works quite as well now as it used to, but I think it's still worth it. I did a boost of a post, I think it was about a month or two ago now. Just spent £50 and did it over the period of time. Got a huge number of new likes, and I definitely got 2 direct bookings from it. So that was well worth the £50 that it cost me. My problem is with it that when you get into the parameters as to who you want to send your advert to, in my previous life, I always wanted ones close by to where I was working. But that's the exact opposite, really, from what I want for people to come on holiday. So I did something very generic, and I'm just looking for some tips, really, on the kind of ideas of what you can put in for those, for locations and ages, etc., etc.
Amazing. I'm going to see if this will work. And if it does work, it will be amazing because I'm going to be able to share my screen with you, and I'll be able to show you some cool little tips. So let me know if you can all of a sudden see my screen.
I can see your screen.
Oh, lovely. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into Facebook ads, and I'm going to show you a cool little tip that you'll be able to do the next time you're setting up an audience, which is the key thing. So let's see if my computer, let's see if Facebook will let me get away with all this, because I'm asking it to do a lot right now. But if this does work, this will be amazing. All right, so let me move my head for a second. I'm going to go to here. And let me get rid of these. So I'm going to go into create ads. Let me get rid of that and that. So when you did the ad last time and you set up the audience, did you go through this setup in the back end of Facebook ads, or did you all do it in the what's called the front end?
I actually can't remember, to be honest.
Oh, that's okay.
I have been in here before, so that's why I'm saying I'm not sure which I did.
Yeah, no, that's cool. Let me get rid of all of these.
Because I have got quite a lot of audiences set up, but they're obviously not relevant anymore because that's to my old business.
Yeah, totally get it. All right, so let's just use this. This is an advert that I started. So for example, this is me completely creating the audience from cold. So this is the same route that you or anybody watching this would go down. And again, this is where you create your audience that you're going to put the advert in front of. So in the previous life, do you want to just quickly explain what you used to do and how you would use Facebook for that? I think it'll help people just to explain what you mean.
Okay. So I used to run baby and toddler classes. So I was obviously targeting people in very specific areas, and also quite a specific age group, because mainly targeted at people who are likely to be parents of new babies, mainly. And also I would add lots of keywords in of things like baby development, shops that they might like to have, like Mother Care and Toys R Us, and but obviously not Toys R Us anymore, but things like that in there. So it was things that they would be looking at, like parenting and things like knit mums and stuff as well. So it was very specific. So for my particular one now, I was putting in things like holidays. It's just outside Lincoln, so Lincolnshire. It's also got a fishing lake and a golf club next door. So I was putting in those sorts of interests in. But it was more the location-wise and things like that I wasn't. I just kind of did
where
generic.
we are right now.
Yeah.
Let's see if this works. Whoa, look at that! I can do a circle. Amazing. This is me playing around with new toys, which I like. So you said that the property is in Lincoln. Okay, so where would you say that the majority of your guests have been from? Stab in the dark, where would you say?
Well, I actually know, because I get all their addresses, so I kind of have quite a reasonable idea. And I've had a couple from Ireland, but the rest have been from sort of the northeast of England down to kind of near enough the south coast. So it's mainly England. There are a couple from Scotland last year, but
Cool. So let's just say that you know the specific location. So for example, with the granary, we get the locations, etc. And we worked out, again, the 20% of people, where is the 80% of where they're coming from. So the 80% of people, where is the 20% of places that they're coming from? And we worked out that it was Leeds was a big one. Basically 2 mile radius in and around where Scarborough is. So you've got Doncaster, Newcastle, for example. And what you're doing is you're basically you're picking out the areas here. All right. Now, the problem with that is that what it does in these areas, it does people who live in these areas or people that have recently been in. You can see there's a drop down option here, everyone in this location. So what you can do, you can filter it, which is really cool. So you can do 2 different types. So work out where the areas you want to target. So it could be Manchester, Newcastle, or anywhere and around it. And if you want to expand or minimize, you can do that with the map here, just by going out and in, and you can do the mile radius. So for example, what we would do here is instead of having everybody, we would change that to everybody who lives in this location.
Yeah.
Because what Facebook does is you tell Facebook where you were born and where you currently live. So it takes that information that you give it. Now, if you wanted to flip that and you wanted to do it a different way, so what did you say the property was in Lincoln, did you say?
Yeah, just outside Lincoln, yeah.
So if we just for this, just put Lincoln, Lincolnshire.
Mm-hmm.
You could run an advert to anybody who was recently in this location. So there's 2, there's recently and there's people traveling in this location. So traveling would be people passing through. Again, Facebook tracks this information. It tracks where this is because of the GPS all the time. So when people tag themselves in a location, that's what people recently mean, and it works in a 12-week gap. So if anybody who has recently been in Lincoln in the last 12, well, now to 12 weeks. So you could think, okay, so who could that have been? Could they have been on holiday? Could they have been working? So the trick with the audience, which is called the ad set name, is don't go super specific with the ad set. You go really specific with the copy. So the next stage that you go to when you're actually putting your ad together with the picture, you put a quite, not generic, but a broad match. So anybody who's recently been in, and again, what you can do, instead of it being a 25-mile radius, you focus it on, you know, the current city. So anybody who has tagged themselves in there, I like to go to about a 5-mile radius.
Yeah.
So anybody who's been in 5 to 10 mile radius of here, and recently means they've been on holiday in there, or they've visited for some way, shape or form. And then the ad copy that you would do would be speaking to people who want to come and visit. Now, some really effective ad copies, you could time it around an event. So if there's a really big event in Lincoln or in around the area that you know that people travel for, it could be a festival.
Like this weekend, there's the it's not actually in Lincoln, but there's the Newark county show, Nottinghamshire County Show. Massive thing. It's about 5-minute drive away. So
so yeah, you could just expand that. So you basically what you can do is if this pin isn't cooperating, you click on let's see if I can get rid of that now that I've done that. Clear all my drawings. There we go. So you can drop the pin, grab that, and if you put it here, then what it does is it'll encapture both of these. And you can do people recently in that location, and you could then talk, basically say, are you coming to the fair? I would flip that to people traveling in this location, because what that does is that it picks up people that are going to an event or something. There's also another really cool thing if you're going to target somebody who's doing an event, and this all depends on how big the event is. So what did you say was the name of the show?
I believe it's just called County Fair, but it's the Nottinghamshire County Fair, but it's held at the Newark Showground, which is literally a 10-minute drive.
Okay. If it was like, I think for detailed targeting, let's see if it all depends on the size of the event. So can you see there the Great Yorkshire Show, which is a massive event in Yorkshire?
Yeah.
Anybody who has an interest in that or been to that, like you say, so this is for people who are watching this who are near Harrogate, say, or in and around it. People travel all over to come to this event because it's really big. If that event, which it isn't, is that big, then you could have basically run a Facebook ad to anybody who has been to it, shown an interest in it, or likes the Facebook page around.
Right. I think they do have a Facebook page. I just need to find it then.
But it's because it's not big enough, you can't run an ad to it, but you can still put an ad in front of people who are going to be traveling in the area. So this is for 2019. You could do this, be a bit proactive and do this at the end of April or the middle of April, and just say, or March, or whenever people start organizing their bookings for that, and just put, are you coming to this fair? Here's our property. We're only 5 minutes away. Like, really speak to that. And that's the beauty of doing something like this. So you can do one of two ways when you do your next Facebook ad. But when it comes to location, just use the filter. So instead of appealing to everybody, you can really target and filter down. And again, because it's more filtered, because it's more strategical, you'll spend less money, but you could get a big, higher return of investment.
Yeah.
Awesome. Right. Let me stop sharing my screen. There we go. That's the magic of Zoom. All right. Amazing. Do you have any other questions that I could maybe help you with today?
No, I don't. Well, I've probably got thousands, but I think for the time being, I've got things I need to go and do.
Amazing.
And then once I've got these done, yeah, I might be back for more help after that. So
Yeah, definitely. Well, hopefully people who are watching this can relate. And if you've got any questions, just comment below in the thread and we can start up a conversation and we can see if we can help, you know, a few people, because I can guarantee that, especially with the payments, because I have seen this question posted a lot in the group and with the booking engine and with Facebook, hopefully there's something that we can be getting on with. But please keep us up to date.
will do.
With how you get on and who you go with and the experiences with, and good luck with everything.
Thank you.
All right, I'm gonna stop the recording now and
Okay.
then I'll end the meeting. But yeah, thank you so much for that.